Hi, good afternoon, students. Okay, let's continue with our second part. In our second part, I'm going to continue with paper 2, SPM Trial from 2022, which is from MRSM. Okay, so I hope that everybody is ready. Okay, right. Okay, now for MRSM paper 2, I purposely chose a question from MRSM because the level of difficulty is a little bit more different compared to others, and sometimes their questions is quite unique, something that we don't usually do with our students, because sometimes their question is quite more difficult, yet sometimes when we don't expect the unexpected, that could happen. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go with the first one. Okay, and I think everyone knows that in paper 2, the full mark is 60. There are 3 parts, and all the 3 parts brings a weightage. Each part brings 20, 20, 20 marks each. Okay, and you have in part 1 you have email. The second part is for what we call as guided writing. So students are given a question guided. The difference between part 2 and part 3 is that part 2, the question is given a situation. Therefore, students can easily gauge to that particular question compared to the third part. The third part of paper 2 is what we call as extended writing, where students are given 3 options of questions, types of writing, and they only have to choose one. And at the end of the day, students are actually writing three essays altogether. Okay, so let's start. And for those who are first timers with this session with me, let me introduce myself again. So I'm Cikgu Adelina, but my students, all my students call me Teacher Ed. So I will be. You can also call me Teacher Ed as well. No problem. Okay. All right. Now, in this first part of the question, which is the email question, I have made like red ticks on the sentences there, so that you could see the I think from part 1 to part 3, all the questions students are actually given three to 4 questions to be answered, and it's very clear cut. It's very straightforward, and that is what the assessment criteria that students have to actually follow, because we do not want students to go around the bush, writing very lengthy and yet not answering the question. Okay. All right. So the first part is email. Students are tested. Their skills is tested in how to answer an email question. Okay. But before we do answer this particular question, let's see what is the requirement for the test. Okay, now you receive an email from your cousin Hanif, who plans to go on a vacation. Sometimes in an email question, both parties are given name. They have like two different characters. But sometimes email question can also put us in as a character in answering the question. Like for this, because you receive an email from your cousin Hanif, meaning that Hanif's name has to appear in this particular answer. And when you complete writing the email, you can put your name at the end. It's up to you actually. There is no penalization of marks if you were not to write or initial yourself at the end of the email, because you can see the sample here, example in the question itself. It doesn't put any initials at the end. Okay, just put the last line here by. Okay, I always tell my students that when they want to start off their email writing, they just look back at the original question. So if the question starts off with hi, then when you want to reply back to your cousin later, Hanif, just use the word hi as well. It is up to you. Just remember, bear in mind that writing email should be short and simple, short and sweet, not a very lengthy answer, because this is not a letter writing. Okay? Alright, so next week is the school holiday. Let's take a break and plan for a vacation. So the first thing I put is the first question that you actually must answer when you are replying for the email later. Where shall we go? That would be the first answer. Yeah, the first question, sorry. And why should we go there? Therefore, when you answer later, you reply later in email, you must state the name of the place and the reason why you are going there and the reason so. Then the third question is, how much money would you need for the trip? So basically, you need to give the amount, or you can just make a figure, an estimation of money, how much financial will be using throughout this vacation plan. All right. Okay, see, very clear. That's why I said MRSM question can be very unique because it can be very simple, it can be very difficult. Later we'll see whether part 2 and part 3 is difficult or not. Okay, now, so you are given this template when answering an email, and my advice to you is when you are given this empty space to subject, for example, okay, make sure, because you are going to answer for Hanif, because this is the cousin that you are replying back. So hanif@gmail.com. It is advisable for you to put an email address, right? Okay. The subject here would be the title. I chose holiday plan because basically if you look in this email, it's actually planning for a vacation, planning for a holiday. It is up to you. You can put their holiday plans or vacation plans. It is up to you. There is no, there is nothing wrong if you were to put that answer. Alright, if you were to put the answer. Okay. Then I already mentioned before, if you want to put dear, it is up to you. You want to put hi, it is up to you. If you want to put hi Hanif, dear Hanif, in the answer part, it is up to you as well. Okay, alright. Can I make the screen smaller now? Alright, now I want to show how are we going to answer this particular question. I'm not going to put Hanif, dear Hanif anymore, because why? I want to follow how the question is being given to the students. Okay, alright. Now you can start off with how are you? It's up to you. How are you? How are you, Hanif? I think this is a very normal answer will be written by students, because I think most of the teachers will tell you to do this. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Okay. When you answer the first question, because the first question is asking where should we go and why should we go there. Alright, straight away go into the answer. I would suggest. Okay, we go to a theme park for our vacation. Straight away put the answer reason why, because more activities that can do that. If you were to say to a theme park, straight away, theme park, right, comma, Sunway, vacation. Because there are many things, activities that we can do there. So you can also say we also have not been there for quite some time. You already answering the question. Okay, already answering the question. So the third question that we need to answer is how much money would we need for the trip? So we can just say that I think we should spend about how much? 300 ringgit. 300 ringgit to pay for the alright. Okay, so now if you were to initial below that, for me, I'll just put my name. Alright. That's it. Okay, let me make it bigger. Okay, so how are you, Hanif? I hope you're fine. I would suggest that we go to a theme park, Sunny Lagoon for our vacation. I'm so sorry for the familiar lagoon because there are many activities that we can do there. We also have not been there for quite some time. I think we should bring about 300 ringgit for the trip. Hope to see you soon. Okay. Students, if you feel that you do not want to go to a theme park, you can also go to the beach. You can go to Port Nixon. It is up to you. What are you going to put the answer there? Because we just want to see students, do they know what do we mean by, what is the question asking about? The question is asking about vacation. So, do you know where to go for a vacation? Why do you want to go for a vacation? Okay? Like for example, if I would go to Sunway Lagoon, I want to go there because there are many things I can do, and at the same time, I'll be there for quite some time. That would be my reason. Estimation of 300 ringgit. You can also say that you can bring like what 600 ringgit, 500 ringgit to go to Port Nixon. It would be a day trip or 3 days, 2 nights. You can find chalets, cheap chalets or homestays to stay at when you go for that particular vacation. This is just a sample. This is just an example. Because as long as you answer this 3 question, okay, you are on the right track. So what I gave and what I put just now is just a sample of how to go about the question. Because sometimes when you answer email, most of the students that I see, my students as well, they're doing the same thing. They like to write very long and lengthy, and sometimes the answer is repetitive, which is not nice when you go to repeat again and again and again, whereas it's actually the same thing. Okay, all right, clear? Okay, now let's go to the second part of the question. Okay, second part of the question, this is the guided writing. Still, students, the full marks for guided writing is 20 marks. The good thing about guided writing is that students are actually given a situation. Okay, a situation. This is what I meant by situation. Your class has been discussing the ways to keep your school clean, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay on it. The good thing when you have this situation is that, I always ask my students especially to use back this question, this sentence as part of their introduction. Okay, to make their life a little bit more easier so that they don't feel, how do you say, they don't feel so nervous of not being able to write an introduction. Because I think if you, some of you out there, you like to make, you will take a very long time more than like 5 minutes to just write an introduction, whereas you can just use actually the sentence back as your introduction. And don't worry, because why? In this sentence there is already a content. The content here is ways to keep your school clean. So what later you need to do is you need to do a lot of brainstorming, especially for these 3 bullets of sentences, these 3 bullets of tasks. So for this essay, you should write an activity you should do. So this is a singular noun. An activity means only one activity. Okay, only one activity. Number 2, why we must keep our school clean. I always advise my students to write at least 2 or 3 reasons why do we need to keep our school clean. You can give 1, you can give 2, there is no problem. If you want to write more, it's fine. There is no penalization for marks there. And number 3, how to encourage others to keep the school clean. Usually, why we must keep the school clean would be the same thing. Say we probably have 1 or 2 reasons why do we do so, and how to encourage the school others to keep the school clean. There will be a lot of ways that you can do later. All right. Okay. Now, all right. This is because I need to I need to bold and things and so forth. Can I make this bit smaller now? All right. Okay. All right, students. If you have a highlighter, this can be done in class as a practice. Okay. You have to highlight this. Just highlight. Okay. Just highlight. Because sometimes we tend to forget which is important and what we should be doing. So in your answer, you must have this in mind, meaning that this is actually your focus. So you have to come up with an activity. Okay, one activity. You have to answer why, because. So when we answer for this question, we are actually will be using the word because. We are talking about the goal. Why do we need to do so? Okay, why do we need to make the school clean? And we are giving suggestions how to encourage. Okay, how to encourage. So here is suggestions. Okay. Sometimes students you forget. It's not that you do not know, but you forget things. That's all. There's nothing wrong. Okay. It's not. It's not. It's not something bad. Alright. Okay. So for this particular essay, students are required to write 125 to 150. Alright, again, students, I would just like to remind you that 125 words is actually 1.5 page. You don't have to count. Remember that. Don't count the number of words. You're going to waste time. You can actually figure out yourself. 125 to 150 is one and a half page. Yeah? If you were to use like a test pad like this, okay, it's actually 1.5 page. It's just that, not more. Okay, all right. Okay. This is what I do with my students in class. What I call it as a brainstorming box. Because later when you were to write the answer, it's easy for them to see and produce paragraphs, number of paragraphs that they want to write. Okay. All right. Now let me make the screen a little bit smaller because I need to write again. Okay. Right. Some of you'll be asking, teacher, what would be an activity that we could do to keep our school clean? So some students say, can we put gotong royong, teacher? Fine, there's nothing wrong. You can put gotong royong. Yeah, gotong royong. It's just remember that gotong royong has to be in what we call this? Inverted comma. Okay, inverted comma. Right, gotong royong. You can also have like cleaning day. It's up to you. You can come up with words that you like. Alright, why we must keep our school clean? So as a student, okay, why do you want to make your school clean? So that what? Why? Why do you want to make our school clean? Definitely you want to have a comfortable environment. Okay, comfortable environment. Comfortable environment meaning that the school is clean, you have a lot, you plant a lot of trees, lot, lot of trees. When you come to school, how do you feel? Okay, when you see the surroundings are clean, all right? Okay, for students, if the school is clean, what would you feel? Would you feel at ease? Would you feel calmer? Okay, can you study better? So you can study at ease because of the situation, because of the place is clean. Alright, you can study comfortably. For example, can you concentrate more? Can you concentrate better? You feel what? You feel comfort. Okay, therefore you can see that you are using words like comfortable. So this is what we call as your thematic vocabulary, which is related to the situation. Right. So if you if you do not have number 3 answer why we must keep our school clean, it's fine. Okay, doesn't matter. Alright. Okay, how to encourage others to keep the school clean? So what would you do? What would you do to make others to help keep the school clean? Can we have campaigns? We can have campaigns. What else can you have? We can do what? We can do promotions. We can also like have competitions. Okay, we can have competitions. Competitions. So when you have competitions, what do you offer? You offer prizes. Campaigns can be what? Among the community. Uh, can you have what? You can have flyers. You can also offer gifts. Okay. When you do promotions, what kind of promotions you do? Like from class to class. Remember the content here is you're doing it in your school compound. Okay, school compound. So set your mind, your area of explanation has to be in the school environment. School environment. Alright? Okay, now what is going to happen is that when you already brainstorm it like this, therefore you can see that you can already make your adjustment in the paragraphs that you are going to write. So you know that in your essay, an activity you could do, you already have the idea here, gotong-royong. Okay, why we must keep our school clean? You already have the first answer, you have the second answer. So if you were to explain furthermore of your first answer for why we keep our school clean, you could add a little bit of example. Sentences should be more specific, should be more elaborated. Okay, same goes with the second answer. And when it comes to encourage other students, then there will be words like I would like to suggest. You know, there are a few suggestions. Okay, what kind of suggestions? We've got 3 ideas here: campaigns, promotions, and doing competitions. Alright. Okay, now let's look at the third one. When we come to doing paragraphs, when you want to write in paragraphs, this is the technique that I do teach to my students. students, I'm using the 5P techniques. That's 5 paragraph. You got paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Paragraph 1 is merely mentioning about the keywords in the situation given. Alright, students, what do I mean by keywords? Keywords means I'm using back this. Okay, just like the introduction here. You still have the keywords. Please keep your school clean. Right, this is what I meant by keywords. Okay, alright. In the second part, the second paragraph, what is going to happen is that answer the prompt by stating what. Can I make my slide smaller? Okay. Prompt by stating the, so I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take the first bullet and use it in my second paragraph. I'm just going to mention on it. Okay, I'm just going to mention. Alright, I'm just going to mention. Okay. When I go into my third paragraph, answer the second prompt by giving what? So I'm going to use this question. Okay, by giving the reasons. Okay, I'm just going to add why we must see our school clean. And number 4, paragraph 4, stating what? How to encourage the school clean. So I've already given some suggestions. Students will be using cohesive devices and so forth. Okay. Alright, and the last paragraph will be personal opinion. So as a student yourself, when we do have Gotoroyo in school, how do you feel at the end of the day? Overall idea, do you think that it is a good way to encourage students to love their school? Is it a good way to encourage students to be more responsible towards their school? It can be put under paragraph number 5. Right? This is how we do it. Okay, this is how we do it. Okay, let's look part 3 now. Part 3 is where the part where students are given the choice of choosing one particular type of writing that they want to do. It can be a report, it can be an article, it can be a review, it can be a story. So there are 4 types of essay here. Students only have to choose one. Okay, let's go one by one. Now in part 3, the first question given is about review, and I already put a tick at the requirement of the question. So the first question review is about an interesting television program. So when you say interesting television program, it could be a sitcom, it could be a quiz program, it could be a musical program. It is up to you. It is up to your liking. For me, questions about television program is quite easy to attempt because I think most of us we watch television, right? Isn't it? Okay. State the name of the program and where you watched it. So if you say you watch it at home, you watch it on Netflix, or you watch it on the internet, it is correct. It is correct. Then tell us what you liked about the program. This is merely your personal opinion. What do you like about it? Do you like the character? Do you like the host? Do you like the invited guest? Okay, you can put it inside. And would you recommend to your friends? Why? So the last answer usually for reviews would be asking you to recommend. Do you strongly suggest? Do you strongly, feel that it is suitable for teenagers? There has to be a reason to support your answer. Okay, alright, let's look at how to go about it. Alright. So I already put here when you want to do this is merely an exercise in class if you were to do with the teacher. So you identify the style of the text. is a review. There are many kinds of review. There can be reviews about programs. There can be reviews about entertainment programs. There can be reviews about books, movies, restaurants, hotels, uh, theme park. It it can be variety of it. Okay. So requirement of the class would be 200 and 250 words. So for part 3, students are required to write longer. That is why we call this as the extended writing. Okay. So when you were to be given the number of words 200 to 250, it is quite longer compared to part 2. So if in part 2 you are writing 1.5 page, so when in part 3 you can write up to 2 pages or 2.5 pages. That is already the limit. Yeah. Okay. Then you identify the style. Are you writing for what? Are you writing for magazine? Are you writing for a newsletter? So therefore, you have to address all the prompts given. If you were to write in a newsletter, this would probably be a school news. It could be a school newsletter. So you are talking to your friends. The readers are your friends, magazine readers. Okay, identify the audience, magazine readers, newsletter readers. It would be teenagers. And when you say that interesting program lately, it could be of the same interest as your friends, same age range. Alright, and the tense to be used for this review could be both present and past tense, because you have watched. Look at the tense being used here. Have you watched any interesting lately? It could be last week. It could be last month, which is to answer the part interesting. It has to be interesting. Okay. All right. The idea is quite similar to guided writing. It's just I make it a little bit different in the form of a box. You can use the way of brainstorming from guided writing to extended writing. It's quite similar. It's just that I want you to see clearly how to go about with paragraphing it. Okay. So in paragraph 1 would be the introduction, but that would be the general idea of the topic given. So the general idea for the topic here is interesting television program. So you could say that your introduction could be, as teenagers, we like to watch interesting television program. And for me, myself, an interesting television program that I watched recently was what? That is your introduction. Okay. Alright. In your second paragraph, you are answering for question 1. What do I mean by question 1? Question 1 means bullet 1. This one. Okay. Bullet 1. State the name of the program that you watched. Okay. When you go into your paragraph number 3, you are answering question number 2. Question number 2 is this. Tell us what you liked about the program. So when you talk about what you like about the program, you could probably give a little snips of the program synopsis. If it is a drama, a teen drama, then you give the character. You might not talk about the director or so forth, but that's why, because we usually don't watch. We don't know about the background of the director or producer so much. We are more on the character or the actor or the actresses in that particular program. Yeah. And the last paragraph would be paragraph number 4. Paragraph number 4, you'll be answering question number 3. Question number 3 is this: would you recommend it to your friends? So recommendation can be in paragraph 4 or can be in paragraph 5. It is up to you. I am not saying that you must write 5 paragraphs. It is up to you again. If you feel that you only can write 4, then you write 4 paragraphs. You want to write 3, you can write 3 paragraphs. This is just my suggestion. This is just my opinion. Okay? Alright. See what I meant by this? Basic introduction, introduction of interesting television program lately, chosen for review. What is it? Synopsis, the body of paragraph with the analysis, comments, and conclusion. Me that you will be recommending. Comment could be personal comments. Yeah, your personal comments. Is it good? Is it bad? And so forth. Okay. question is about report. Okay, it's on report for MRSM. So see, the question on report is quite different. Because not many states actually choose report as their part of question given to the students. Okay. So your school recently held a science and innovation competition. Your teacher has asked you to write a report on the competition. So again, we got 3 questions here. 3 questions. Activities, you can see this is a plural noun. Benefits gained by the participants, suggestions. Everything are all in plural noun. Now, when you were to write a report, this is how to go about writing a report. Okay? There is no specific marks for format, but this is how a report should be written. To whom, if you are writing to your principal, does it mention? Okay, it doesn't mention here. Just mention your teacher. So what you can do is just change to your teacher advisor. If the report is to be written to the principal, then principal. Don't have to write the name, just write the post of the teacher. Okay, then title, what? Where do I get this title? I just took the title from here. The question, and then the date. Alright, so at the end, when you have finished writing the report, so below will be reported by or written by. So, but students, don't worry, there is no marks specifically for format. The most important thing is the tone of your writing has to sound like a report. It has to sound like a report. Alright. You can use this box as a sample on how to brainstorm first, activities conducted, benefits gained, and then suggestion. Where do I get all this? These are all in the questions. This is all in the question. Okay, and the last one, this is on story. Okay, so there are many types of story questions be given, by teachers or by some schools when they set up questions. It can be in the form of a title. It can be in the form of a sentence like for this. The story must end with the following words. See, must end. I would never forget that moment until my last breath. So this phrase has to be at the end of your story. And if you were to choose to write a story, just make sure that when you, there are 2 rubrics given for story writing. You have to describe and you have to talk about the moments. Now, when you describe the moments, students are actually, you have to be very good with your choice of words. Therefore, descriptive words is required when you were to write descriptions. The moment, that would be incident, an event, something that has happened. I would never forget that moment until my last breath, meaning that this particular story that you are going to write has to be something that has a very big impact in your life, really big impact. Either it has changed you totally, you have learned a lesson, you become someone who is very reserved, it changes the characters and so forth. Okay? And talk about what made the moment unforgettable. This is more of your feelings, it will sound very personal. But remember, when you write stories like this, the reader will be just you and the teacher. So don't worry about, so afraid of writing, because this actually, you can just use that your personal experience to be written like that particular story. Okay. Alright, so I think that is all for today for this session. Thank you so much for spending this much time with me. So I hope that there's going to be another more session with other states. Okay, so till we meet again, take care. Bye, everybody.